Hello, my name is Mariana Zon. I am one of the educators here at the Scobie Education Center. Today I'll be providing a virtual training for the Santikos Micronaut Center. We will go over our 12 stations as well as the day of and some activities that you can do before your mission. At the Water Wonder Station, students will be able to learn how astronauts filter their own bodily fluids for consumption. The Micronaut will place a tube of dirty water in this section. Watch as it is filtered. They will then pick up the clean water from this door. The biology station is a two-part station. In this section, students will be able to place the acrylic encased insects underneath the microscope and observe them on the big screen. This will allow them to make observations and determine what type of insects they are observing while also seeing their different body parts. In this section, students will observe the hydroponic grower, categorize living and non-living organisms, as well as observe our living specimens. Here we showcase a worm farm. In our engineering station, the Micronaut will be able to test out the rovers and different variables while identifying how these changes have affected the speed of their rover. They will be able to change the height of the ramp, the type of vehicle, as well as the terrain. In the geography station, the students will begin to identify and model landforms. When the students start digging, they will soon see rivers and valleys form. When they build up, they will be able to form hills, mountains, and volcanoes. The geology station is a three-part station. In the first substation, students will be able to categorize the rocks by their physical characteristics. This includes determining their color, texture, and if they are smooth, rough, heavy, or light. In the next station, students will test different rocks and identify which rocks are magnetic and non-magnetic. In the third station, students will be able to compare the mass of the rocks. If you have second or third grade students, they will use our double pan balance to compare rocks, but will also use gram counters to measure the mass of the rock. If you have a pre-K through first grade class, they will just be comparing the mass of the rocks to each other. At the creation station, students will be able to get as creative as they like. We ask the students to think about how their lunar base would look like if they lived on the moon. This is the only station that we do not ask the kids to reset. We want them to collaborate as they begin their journey on the moon. The weather station is also a two-part station. On the cupola, the students can pick their biome and learn a little more about the region and their weather. We also have a magnetic sign where we will place the temperature of the day and the current weather conditions outside. The students will then choose what type of clothing and accessories are appropriate for that climate. In this station, one student will be the mission control specialist and the other will be the astronaut. Students will be able to take turns doing both. Mission control's job is to instruct the astronaut on where to go. Mission control cannot use the screen as it has no function other than to choose the mission. They will verbally instruct the astronaut on where to place the parts and or what direction to go. The astronaut will then complete the mission by placing the objects on their screen as mission control has instructed. In the energy station, students will race using mechanical energy to energize lights on the arch. Once a student wins, the arch will identify a winner. This system will then need to reset so you see the lights go down, go back up, and go back down once more. Now students will be able to race again. Using a model, students will be able to observe the patterns that occur as the moon orbits around the Earth. They will then apply that knowledge themselves and model the process using stuffed celestial objects. Students will also be able to sort events based on when they occurred, day or night. In the training center, students will be able to live as an astronaut. They will sleep, see the types of food astronauts eat, and exercise just like an astronaut. They will use the exercise bands to exercise and rubber circles to hop on. Physical world is also a two-part station. Students will be able to test different objects in the fly-no-fly zone. The second part will have students using snap circuits to learn about alternative energy. If you have a K through first student, instead of alternative energy, they will interact with magnetism. Next, we will go over our training site. In our training site, you will have all the resources we have discussed today. Once you have navigated to sacscoby.space, you would click on Training, open Micronaut Pre-Mission Training, and because I have already logged in before, it's not asking me for the password, but you will need to use the password that has been provided for you on this page. If you have any questions about your mission, you can contact the main line, or you can also email Brick or myself. If you have questions about your planetarium show, Michelle Reese can assist. And for any other inquiries, please contact the main line. Here are the directions to our center. Notice our address is 1198 San Pedro. This is because it will lead you directly to our roundabout. It's located right here, where the bus will be able to drop off. If you have a planetarium show and a Micronaut mission, make sure you are dropped off at the Scobie Education Center if you have a planetarium show first. So you'll be dropped off here if you have a planetarium first. Or if you have a Micronaut mission first, you'll be dropped off on this side of the loop. Your buses will be able to park in the designated bus areas here. Here are the TEKs that are aligned to the Micronaut Center. You're more than welcome to review them yourself or provide it to your administration if needed. The mission roster is the most important part of our training today. Please make sure to fill out the top information. One chaperone is required for every 2 students. Your chaperones will receive a quick briefing the day of the mission, so we ask that they arrive 20 minutes before the students do. If you have bilingual, dual, or ESL students, please make sure to mark it so that we can staff it appropriately. Our engineering activity will help the students have a better idea about the engineering station. This activity will allow students to test different variables using paper airplanes. Students will be able to design different models of airplanes with different types of paper. Our communication activity will not only help students with their directional skills, but it will also help with their listening skills. Lastly, the geography activity will allow the students to learn about landmarks and have fun making a delicious treat. Thank you so much for taking the time to review our activities as well as the small training that we provided. Hopefully this training will help you understand a little bit more about what the 12 stations do and how they can benefit your kids.